Hi, this is lesson 3 about what you know don't what you have to do. What do you have to do? Nothing. That's the answer. But we're going to go into this a little bit more because when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling overwhelmed, often the reason why we're feeling this way is because we're self-abusing, we're self-attacking, we're saying we have to be a certain way for us to be enough. There's certain things we have to do in order for us to be lovable and worthy. This comes from our childhood trauma. So when you were a kid, if you didn't do what others told you, they wanted you to do, then you would feel guilt or shame, or you would be guilted or shamed into doing it. And you had the thought that I could lose their love. When you're a child, and we're going to go into this in some of the other segments, you don't understand that the person that's teaching you this is often not healed, that they're struggling with their own self love, and they're actually mirroring how they were parented. So then we learn these scripts like, I have to, I ought to, I should. And that's what we use to motivate ourselves. So when you have things you have to do, whether it's accounting, housework, schoolwork, anything that you need to do and you want to do it. But instead of us saying, I want to do this, this feels loving, what we'll actually say to ourselves is, I have to do it. I have to. I should. I ought to. It has a pressure to it. And sometimes there's things that you actually would do if you didn't have that. You would do naturally, but you say that you should do it instead of saying you want to. An example of this that I like to use is when you're a teenager or you are a teenager, and if you're told you have to go to school or you should go to school, it creates an energy of resistance within us. If you are constantly being told that and being pressured to do something and imply that, like, I know you don't want to, but you have to, that creates resistance, and then you don't want to go to school. However, if you were told you don't have to go to school, there's absolutely nothing you have to do, and you were to sit in your bed for a couple days, you'd probably come to the conclusion that you actually want to go to school, that maybe it is in your best interest. Maybe it could be loving for you, and there's something maybe for you to learn and grow. And whatever reason why you don't want to go to school is actually probably something that you need to heal. So when we're in a healed place, it's easier to get to a place where we say, I want to. So we're going to be working on the shifts that's going to allow you to choose to want to go to school. But the first step is actually to say there's nothing you have to do. So whether it's school, and like I said, whether it's your housework, telling yourself, I have to put the laundry over from the washer to the dryer. I have to. You don't have to do that. If it's not loving for you to do that, it's actually something that it'd be in most alignment for you not to do. So we're going to be asking ourselves these questions to go deep, a little bit deeper. So first, the actual lesson is, so the truth is going to set you free. So freedom comes from not self-abusing and not feeling stressed. So if you say, oh my gosh, I feel so stressed, I promise you all day you told yourself there's things you have to do or that you should do. And you're operating from a place of fear. You're motivating from a place of fear, not from a place of love. So our first step in healing this is to start reminding yourself there's nothing you have to do, there's nothing you ought to do, and there's nothing you should do. I have in this order though. There's nothing you have to do, there's nothing you should do, there's nothing you ought to do, or that you need to do. So one of the exercises I'd like you to do is, I want you to get a piece of paper or a card and write down, I have to, I ought to, I should. Okay. And then we're going to burn this. So you're going to do it over your sink, or I have a bowl in front of me. It just gives you a visual to help you when you're getting stuck in shoulding and have to and ought to be able to shift and remember that there's nothing you have to do, there's nothing you ought to, there's nothing you should do. And when we should ourselves, when we have to ourselves, when we ought to ourselves, it actually makes us feel angry when other people don't behave this way. And this is going to be a core teaching in our lessons. So we will mirror other people, we will project onto them. So if you tell yourself, I have to be on time, I can never be late, you're going to have the thought, other people have to be on time, they cannot be late. So your lack of self-compassion will lead to a lack of compassion for others. And the goal of our therapy, or learning this type of therapy, is to learn self-compassion. Don't burn yourself while you do that. Okay, I'm going to drop it in the bowl now. So learning to be able to not self-abuse will help you to not abuse other people as well. So if you say there's nothing I have to do, then you're going to be able to say there's nothing you have to do. We're going to be in acceptance to where people are, what is their best, and be in acceptance of what is our best in any given moment. So then the question is, how do we motivate ourselves? And that is to ask yourself, what do I want to do, and what feels most loving to me? I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to write that for you. So then the next question you want to ask yourself after you've told yourself there's nothing I have to do, there's nothing I ought to, there's nothing I should do, is what do I want to do and what feels most loving? And it's really what's most loving to you, because if you truly understand that what's most loving for you is actually what's going to be most loving for other people. So if somebody asks you to do something that you really don't want to do, understanding that if it doesn't feel loving to you to do it, it's actually not loving for them for you to do it, because then we get into codependency. We self-sacrifice, we cause guilt in others, we cause resentment within ourselves. So this we'll test this as we go along, but this is one way that we can motivate ourselves in a way that might not cause the same initial like motivation of pressure, but it's sustainable. This is why diets don't work. I can't eat the cookie. I shouldn't eat the cookie. I have to eat salad. That's exactly what makes you not want to eat a salad and what makes you want the cookie more. So instead, we're going to say, I can absolutely eat salad. There's nothing I shouldn't do or have to do. I can eat the salad, or I cannot eat the salad. I'm always enough. And then saying, okay, what do I want to do? What feels most loving? And then coming to a place where we either choose it because we're ready for that and we want it, or we don't choose it because to avoid the self-harm of doing something we don't want to do. And in the long term, you're going to find that whatever you apply this to, whether it's any change that you want to make in your life, including removing addictions, you're going to be able to find that you're going to have sustainable change in your life that's going to give you the best possible outcomes. So there's nothing you have to do. There's nothing you ought to do. There's nothing you should do. Rather, ask yourself, what do I want to do and what feels most loving?